Hi there, welcome to Dream Retro. In this first video I'm going to be taking apart and reshelling a Game Boy Advance SP. Now this isn't going to be a tutorial, this is just me documenting what I did and having a little bit of fun, so let's just jump in. So this is the SP that I'm reshelling. I'm just showing it off here firstly that it works. As you can see, it does turn on. You'll see there's quite a lot of scratching on the top of this. That's from where I used to have a cover on the top when I was younger, which I used to take on and off a lot and play with, and that's just scratched the plastic a lot. There's also a lot of scuffing around the outside where I've just not treated it very well over the years, and there's some remnants of where I've tried to take it apart in the past, like missing rubber caps on the screws on the inside. So this is the new shell that I'm going to be using. I got this for quite cheap off eBay. I just chose this one because it's cute and I thought it looked a lot nicer than the tribal design that was on the old shell. It does feel a little bit cheaper than the original case, but it's definitely good enough. So the first tool needed to take this apart is a tri-wing screwdriver. I struggled to get a decent picture of this on the camera that I have, but you can get these very cheap online. If you search tri-wing, you'll find them. I managed to do a very good job when recording this section of having my hand in front of the camera the entire time. My first piece of advice when taking these apart would be to separate out all the screws that you're taking out and just make a note of where they originally came from. Nintendo likes to use different size screws in different parts, so you're likely to get confused when putting it back together, and if you put them back in the wrong place you could possibly damage something, so just make a note of that. I'm not actually showing it in the video, but I am putting them on a piece of paper and just writing down what they were. At some point I will probably find a better way to do that. For example, I've seen people use things like ice cube trays or pill boxes, and that seems like a really good option for keeping everything separated. Another thing that I would suggest is maybe being a little bit more prepared than I was. You'll see here that I open it upside down and throw the buttons and rubber parts everywhere. Maybe try not to do that. The ribbon cable is almost certainly the most awkward part of this assembly. Most of it is just undoing screws, but the ribbon cable kind of ties one side to the other, so it's slightly awkward to take out, but it just has these two little plastic tabs. Once you've undone those, it should just pop out. Now this is probably one of the bigger mistakes I made during this process. I would recommend not doing it this way. What I was attempting to do was get the ribbon cable out of the hinge, and essentially I found a way to just sort of force it through. This is definitely not the right way to do this. You'll see in a second that there's a screw underneath the ribbon cable. If you undo that, then a part of the hinge comes off. Then it is way easier to take that ribbon cable out. You'll see here I test the screen just to ensure that the ribbon cable does still work, and thankfully it did. Now we come to probably the stupidest thing I did during this assembly, and I think if you watch you'll probably guess what happened. And you'll probably notice that I'm wearing a plaster on my finger for the rest of the video. And now we get to the fun part, which was reassembling everything. What you'll see me doing here is just cleaning the screen with some isopropyl alcohol. There was just some gunk underneath the screen, probably from years of use, and I just wanted to get that off before I put it back in. Putting the shoulder buttons back in was a little bit awkward, but I probably made it more awkward than it actually should have been. Especially when I managed to drop the little metal bars several times. I somehow managed to miss the part where I put the top screen back on and put the hinges back in, but it is a lot easier than taking the hinges out. The hinge covers just go on top and then the hinges just kind of pop in. Now I think I'm just going to let Video Me take you through the rest of the reassembly. Even though I made some very silly mistakes, this was a ton of fun to do, so thank you for watching and I hope I can show you something cool again soon.